What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Beautiful Thursday. This is going to be a quick one. This is an example of sometimes you make the most money not chasing news, not chasing stocks, not trying to be cute and outwit. Just roll with the winners. Okay, roll with the winners. Okay, so what happens is when disruption is happening, like right now, Tesla with Robotaxi is disrupting a lot of companies, a lot of businesses. Uber, Lyft, this challenges their whole reason for existing, right? So now you're going to see them start to scramble and try to piecemeal deals together to try to save their skin and catch up, okay? And this is what they did to the taxi business. Uber did to the taxi business, 10 years ago. And now it's coming full circle, right? It's, what is that? The circle of life, Hakuna Matata, whatever it is, right? All right, so here's the news today. So Lucid Motors, who's another EV manufacturer, and Uber announced this partnership, okay? Lucid's gonna build these amazing EVs, Uber's gonna buy them, and then they're gonna partner together with Nuro, with their proven autonomy, to launch the next generation of robotaxi fleet, 20,000 vehicles starting next year. Guys, that's it. I'm selling all my Tesla stock. Game over. Uber's going to win. It's over. Not. All right. So let's dive into the press release. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. So basically, Uber is dropping 300 million into this deal to deploy 20,000 or more Lucid vehicles equipped with Nuro driver over 6 years. So I don't know, 3,000 cars a year. All right. So how did the stock react? Let's dive in. All right. Uber's down today. Okay. Which it's amazing to me that they're up for the year. They're up 50% on the year, but their days are numbered. I would not ape into Uber right now. Not financial advice. Do whatever you want, but I'm just saying. All right. Now the real story is, and this is where people are going to mess up and chase it, is Lucid is up 36% today. Look at that. It's up to $3.12. So people will chase that. Like they see this chart right here and they want to chase it. And then they see these flashy headlines and they're like, ooh, Uber, I take Ubers. Uber's good. Uber's going to do Robotaxi with Lucid. Oh, Lucid, better car than Tesla, blah, blah, blah. Great. So they ape into it. Great. Well, it's already done. Like you can see, it's already pulling back. It's non-news, and they have some very disturbing news that they announced quietly too today that I'm going to show you. Okay, but here's the problem with Lucid, right? This is their all-time chart. So they went public as a SPAC in 2020, I think, and $10 they came out, shot right up to like $53, all the way back down to 20, all the way back up at the end of 2021 to like 55, and it's just been a dying bleed out ever since then. Okay, so Lucid filed today a proxy statement with the SEC to initiate a plan for a reverse stock split. Guys, do not invest in companies that have reverse stock splits. 99% of the time, that is a death kiss, okay? So what happens is when your stock price gets too low, you get delisted from the NASDAQ and all the major exchanges. So what companies will do is they'll do a reverse split. So now instead of 1 million shares, they'll have 100,000 shares, but instead of their shares being $3, they're $31, right? But it doesn't fix anything. So that's already bad news with Lucid. Now let's dive into their last earnings. I know about Lucid already. Here's what I know colloquially, right? Because I'm in the space and I pay attention to the competition. Lucid makes beautiful cars, okay? They're super expensive. Their claim to fame is they have the most battery range, and they bleed cash like you wouldn't believe. Nobody buys them, and the Saudi Arabian government is what's keeping them afloat. This company would have long ago went bankrupt if the Saudis had not stepped in and threw a bunch of cash into the company. Okay, and you can see it right here. So this is, now they've been around 5 years. Okay, they went public. Well, they were around before that, but they've been public since 2020. Okay, in Q1 of this year, they delivered 3,100 cars. 3,100 cars. They generated $235 million in revenue, but they had a loss of $563 million. So they sold 3,000 cars. Every dollar they brought in cost them over two, right? So this is a company that is not making good money. Now, if they can only sell 3,100 cars, they can only produce 2,200 cars in a quarter, right? So Uber's jumping in with 300 million to supposedly buy 20,000 of their cars. Well, shoot, they lose almost double that in a quarter, and Uber's going to bleed, so I don't know. This is not, I don't think, something that you should chase. Okay. But it shows you what Tesla's doing. Look at their cars. They're beautiful cars, but look, 70,000 all the way up to 250,000, right? So 250,000 for a 1,200 horsepower car. The Tesla Model Y Plaid, which is direct competitor to this, is less than half the price. Maybe it doesn't have 427 miles of range, but I don't know. For $100,000, that's a few supercharging stops. Okay, so these are the cars that they have. All right, so I'm not a big fan of Lucid, but again, right? It's competition, and at the end of the day, as a Tesla investor, competition in the robotaxi space is very good for the company. The more players you have, the better it is. It makes it harder for the regulators to say no. Okay, now who the heck is Nuro? I've never heard of Nuro. Okay, so let me back out for a second. Guys, one thing you learn when you get into crypto is you can sniff out BS a mile away on a website, because every piece of crap coin that you see listed that's out there supposed to be the next big thing. They all got these beautiful websites with white papers telling you all the amazing things they're going to do, and you can sniff through that quickly. Okay, so let's get into Nuro's site. Again, I never heard of these people until today. I don't know anything about them. I didn't really deep dive them any further for this video than going on their website. And I'm going to point out a few things that tell me no competition. Okay, so here's Nuro. This is their fancy website, beautiful machine learning first mapping. Okay, so what I can tell here, what I think, and maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. Okay, so what it is what gives Tesla their advantage for robotaxi, their moat. Okay, what makes them a very solid investment and hard for somebody to beat is every mile that anyone has driven in a Tesla for like the last 10 years, that real driving behavior, unless you opt out, and very few people do, all day long, the car records your drives, records your reactions, and it uploads that at the end of the day. And if you check your internet, you'll see how much data it uploads at the end of the day back to the Tesla servers. So what the AI is being trained on is real human beings driving for 10 years. We're talking like billions. My light just went out. We're talking like billions of miles of driving. So this is real world driving. This is why today on Duval Street, when the new turn onto President Ave, this is very specific to where I live, but you'll get the point. Big construction zone, left turn onto President Ave that didn't exist yesterday. My Tesla this morning, full self-driving, flawlessly executed the left turn through the construction site with cops and all kinds of construction equipment, because this thing has billions of miles of training. Now, Nuro has not been doing this for 10 years. I don't even think Waymo's been doing it for that long. Okay, and if they have, they don't have that many billions of miles. So how do you catch up? Well, you can't just go out and get, millions of people to feed you their driving data. So what they do is they use AI models of driving to try to pretend like it's real driving to train the AI. And that's what I'm seeing here. I think, maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. Keywords: machine learning first mapping, right? We're developing a novel AI-driven mapping approach that combines real-time perception data, cutting-edge perception, AI-driven behavior, blah, 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 blah. The other thing I see here, why this is garbage and it's going to fail, all right, right here. We are continually evaluating, focusing on integrating LiDAR, radar, and camera technologies, okay? This is the debate of Waymo versus Tesla. Tesla is camera only. Waymo is camera with LiDAR. What happens if they get different signals? Who wins? It's just when you pair up too many different things together, it's a recipe for disaster. That's why you see videos of Waymos stuck in the middle of the street, not sure what to do. Waymos have to be pre-map the area. It's just not, and the whole point of this is it doesn't scale, okay? Uber's trying to get 20,000 of these on the road in 6 years. You understand Tesla can get 20,000 of these on the road in like 6 days, so it's game over. But again, the more competition, the better for everybody, right? Predominantly my investment. Okay, here's an example of the car that they've mocked up. So I don't know, guys. You know what I mean? I would not chase Lucid on this. I would not invest in Uber on this. But again, the more competition, the better, right? Because it's harder for the regulators to say no to one when there's 2 or 3 other ones. So God bless them. I hope it works. I hope there is real competition. But this makes me more bullish than ever on Tesla and Robotaxi and what they're doing. All right. So I just wanted to analyze, excuse me. I just want to throw it out there, analyze how I think. And when I see news like this and you see stocks jumping, why you don't chase them and how you make more money not chasing than chasing. All right. Stick to the plan, understand what the competition is doing, understand your thesis and stick to it and never chase losers. When the chart pops like that, you'll lose your shirt. All right, guys. Just want to share that with you. Have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.